And I'm not recording. Now I'm recording. Yep, I have lost every single picture that I just took for some reason. What in the flying Sam? Yeah, stick them up when you're done. I like saying that. Stick them up when you're done. Your hands. Cool. Awesome. All right, cool. Y'all got done quick. All right. So, yep, that actually reminds me, Josh. Thank you for that. So, one other thing here that y'all got me in trouble for, and we're about to make sure that it gets fixed tonight. Who has not gotten signed up with Edmodo and not signed up for the class? Speak up now because I'm about to check. What's Edmodo? Are you being sarcastic there, Gabe, or not? All right. Go to edmodo.com. Yep. And sign up, and then I'm trying to get the code right now for people that need it. Why is this being? Stop it. All right, so there's the code. And then you go to Edmodo. And you hit join groups up here, right here. Join. And then you enter that group code I just sent out. Now let's see who all has signed up for that. I got 6 members that joined. I got Josh is on here, Tyson's on here, and Dennis is on here. So that means both Jakes and Wade's not on here. Are you in the other class? Let's find out. You're in either class, that's fine. Yep, okay, you are there, Wade. You're just in the other class, that's fine. Dave, you're on there. I don't see any Jake. Oh, I see one Jake. I don't see Roseman. It's free. It doesn't cost any money, Dave. All right. Now, I've also been asked to make y'all sign up for our YouTube channel, and you can get to that through Edmodo. I'm not going to make y'all subscribe. I'm just going to encourage you to. I don't think it's right, proper if I ask you to subscribe, but it is encouraged. I got YouTube out my mixtape, bro. There's just so many things wrong with that. All right, on the coding. So here we're going to be using we're going to be, I can't talk. Okay. So the first thing I want you to add to the code is the pin mode input up there. And make sure that's going to be in your setup. That's your pin mode 8 input. So we're going to define that pin that you just plugged into as another type of input. All Alright, so that's step one, and I cannot spell tonight. Oh yeah, one thing here, I'm gonna let you know I'm really, really tired, so I do stutter when I get tired. So, Gabe, I got a question for you, man. Is your other member of the what do you call it? The Blachachin gang? Is he enjoying this class as much as you are? Bling bling kaching, my bad. Cool. Josh likes your gang name. Alright. So that pin mode 8 is going to be your first thing we're going to put in there. And where's the next part? 1 second, y'all. Down here somewhere. Alright. So this is our void loop. Now, the location does matter. The location here does matter. Make sure you put this int digital read, int button equals digital read above the if statement. And then I want all these serial prints below the if statement. Now, there is a slight difference between these print statements and the print statement you have. And I am not going to tell you what it is. I want you to try to find it yourself. All right, raise your hands when you think of that. I didn't think it was really a gang there, Gabe. Oops, I about messed up. All right, raise your hands. So one of you knows I did something slightly different than what's on the actual slides. The /T, Josh, that's like tab. That's like hitting tab. It's not read by the code. It will just move it about 5 spaces over, which is what this is. I just figured that would be easier than /. Figured you can see it both ways. Both codes are exactly equal right now. So after you get done, you can go ahead. Well, I can upload my code if I plug in my Arduino. There it is. No. You don't delete anything below void loop. We're adding to it. You add this, and then you add this. There's no deleting. And when you're done, you should have something that looks like this. Now, your Goku might say LDR or whatever you put in there. To get the code, press Alt F4. Oh, is that the shortcut? Uploads it. Don't do it. Okay. Oh. That's right. I knew that. Dadgummit. I knew that too. I got a few of my students last class on that. Last semester. All right. If your code doesn't look like mine, or if your serial print doesn't look like mine with Goku on the left side, button on the right side, you didn't spot the change. Right? Because if you have one right below each other, you're missing something. And here, while y'all are doing that, I'll even do something else since my phone seems to be acting retarded. Let me try it and I'll see if I can get this thing up. Are you telling me you got an error in there, Gabe? All right, let's see what it is. Actually, nope, I'm not going to tell you. Tyson's going to troubleshoot it for you. That Mike Tyson. So, Tyson, you're not Mike Tyson, are you? If they're right on top of each other, you didn't spot the difference, Tyson. There's a difference. It's added to the second one and it's taken away from the first one. Nope, Gabe missed it too. Why is this taking so long to compile? It said it compiled just fine. All right, for the sake of time, I'll show you where it's at. So, look on my screen if you didn't find the difference, or one of yours is right on top of the other. So if one is right on top of the other, what's happening is it's creating a new line every single time. Here, I'm actually going to load up Gabe's here so it'll do it. Oh. All right. So here, you see Gabe's is kind of doing the same thing. It's going down every single line. They're not side by side. They're on top of each other. So the serial, so what's happening is every time it comes here, it's creating a new line. And every time it comes here, it's creating a new line because of this little LN right there. So if you just delete this one, you fix the problem. All right, give me 1 second, Wade, and then I'll help you out with that problem. All right, so just change out that little LN, and it fixes the whole thing. All right. So here is what should happen now. Let me get mine uploaded again. So I have my LDR is still working. The LDR should still be working the same as it always has. All right. And then when you hit that button, the button should go to 1. All right. It should go to 1. You release the button. It goes to 0. Now, who said it? Wade. The first thing I want you to try is where you have, now Wade's is always at 1. Is that right? No matter if you hit the button or not? All right. Try switching where you have that wire from pin 8 coming to the switch. Switch it to the other prong, the opposite prong of your push button switch, and then try it. If that doesn't work, it's going to be a little bit more complicated, but we'll get there. All right, raise your hands when you got everything done. And when you hit the button, it should go to 1. All right, I'll 1 second, Tyson. I'll explain that one. All right. All right, let me go back up here to the circuit. All right. Okay, 1 second. Let me help out Jake with this code. Jake, what that's telling me is, what's it say? So on that last line where it says button not declared in scope, so you probably don't have the int right here. It's probably the only thing you're missing. All right, now as far as everybody else whose 1s and 0s aren't working right. So a few things to double check here. Make sure, double, triple, quadruple check that resistor is plugged into ground. All right, or to the negative rail. And now if it's this rail or to this rail, it doesn't really matter. Just as long as it's plugged into ground. All right. Now the next thing to check is if you're quite sure that resistor is plugged into ground, then make sure that the wire that's on pin 8 is in line with that resistor. So if the resistor is on line 12 on one side, the wire should be line 12 on the other side. All right, so if the resistor is on line 12, then this should be on line 12. This other prong here, so opposite to the resistor, make sure that one is plugged into power. Make sure that one's plugged into power. Jake, did that work for you? Putting the int there? Awesome. All right. Whose circuit is not working? Let me know now. Mr. Roseman, Mr. Wade, is everything working right? So, all right, Tyson, when you say 0s and 1s, when you're not pressing the button, it should be 0, and then when you press it, it should be 1. Is that not? I'm a little bit confused on what you're saying here. Well, not pressing it shows 1. Okay, I might have said it wrong. Let me pull mine back up real quick. Yeah. All right. All right, Tyson. What I want you to do. Actually, I'm gonna unmute you. You got that echo. All right. I'm still going to unmute you. All right. Tyson, can you hear me?
Muted.
All right. Tyson, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, no way. Dang coming. Okay, no way. Dang coming. All right. Unplug this wire.
Unplug which wire?
This wire.
This wire. Okay, okay, I unplugged it.
All right. So what's your serial print say?
my serial print. The button just says 111110000.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right, so take the end of that wire, plug it in to your power on your breadboard.
To the plus?
Yep.
Okay. Plugged it in.
Does it read 1?
It just reads 1, that's all.
Okay. Now move it over to your ground.
Just reads 0.
All right, switch them back and forth. Make sure it's going from 1 to 0.
Yep, 1 to 0.
Okay. So now take that wire and plug it in. 1 second. See if this works. Yep. All right. Plug it in right on line where you have the resistance.
Well, what I did right now is, I plugged it back into where it was, and I pushed down the button socket really hard, and all the ones went away.
So what happens when you press it now?
Okay, when I press it now, 1 shows up. Okay, I think I fixed it, but I have to hold this button down for it to work.
Yeah, the button's retarded.
Okay.
All right, the button doesn't quite. It's a piece of crap. How you coming, Jake Brosman? Okay, cool. All right. So now we're gonna move on to Mr. Tyson. Move on to another concept. Now this is a very, very strange and very complicated concept for a whole lot of people. All right? It's called logic. Does everybody here know what logic is? I only got one person, Celsi. Okay, everybody knows what logic is. Cool. So we're going to move into an area, yes, as in Mr. Spock kind of logic. It is exactly that kind of thing. It is called digital logic, which is very, very similar. It's actually sometimes easier and sometimes harder, but it's just digital logic. So, we're going to move on to ands and ors, all right? So, this concept of ands and ors is how your computer works. There's these little things in there called AND gates and OR gates. They work off the exact same principle. All right, there's nothing different about it. They work off the exact same principle. That's how your keyboard works. That's how binary works. It's how your computer works. It's how technology as we know it works. It is AND and OR gates, and then there's XOR gates and NOR gates, but it's the same principle. All right. So, and here when we're saying and or, right, we're talking about this here. It's called the 2 ampersands, which is shift 7. And then that's for your and, right? And that can make sense because you recognize that symbol as and then it resembles and, right? Pretty simple. And then you have the or symbol, which is these 2 parallel lines, which is usually shift and your / or right next to your enter key and right below your curly brackets and right above your shift key. All right, and that's the or symbol. Now, what this does is it allows us to make Josh got me off track. He asked me if I've seen Mighty Python and the Holy Grail. Yes, I've seen that quite a few times. All right. It allows us to make a little bit more complicated if statements. And they're not only used in if statements, they're used in a bunch of different locations. So what is essentially representing, so I'm going to use the Scratch version of it, right? If some condition is met and another condition is met, do all the stuff that I told you to do under here. So another way to look at it is if I see John Connor and if I see Sarah Connor, go straight psycho killer. All right? In this case, it says if I see John Connor or even if I see Sarah Connor, go psycho killer. All right? That is how that works. It is this is how that works. Just if one condition is met and the other one is met, do it. Now, you can use a whole bunch of these, right? I can slap ands in here all day long if this is met, and if I see John Connor and I see Sarah Connor and I see a puppy dog and I see a rabbit and the temperature is 27 degrees Fahrenheit and the month is Tuesday and the day is Tuesday and there's a Coke bottle somewhere. Whatever, you make it as long as you want to, then go psycho killer mode. All right? And in this case here, it's the same thing with the or. And you can mix them up into each other too. You can go ands and ors. But if I see John Connor or I see Sarah Connor or I kick a puppy dog or I see my 8th grade math teacher, or if I see that one girl who turned me down at one time, jump off a cliff. Exactly. All right? So you can wrap all that stuff up into each other. All right? So here we're going to kind of experiment with that a little bit. This is the first one I want you to write up. We're going to use the or statement. So if I see, so I shall pull up my code. Now, this is not a new code. We're just adding to the other code. This is just wrapped up into that if statement right here. So shift 2 slashes, button, equal. Now, make sure you use the double equal sign. All right. So the difference is, the way I always explain it is, so if I say button equals 1, I am saying that the variable of button is actually equal to 1, or I can say equal to 5, or equal to 19, or 42, whatever, right? The double equal sign, or the single equal sign is like a statement of fact. It is like button is equal to 1, or is equal to 2, or is equal to 42. This is a statement of fact, all right? The double equal sign, that's like asking a question. It's like, is it equal to 2 or is it equal to 42? All right? It has some special name, but I never can remember what it is. But the double equal sign is more of a checking to see if a variable is equal to a value. The 2 lines that are standing up, the shift and actually the button right above for your forward slash. So it's right below you. It's usually right below your bracket, right to the left of your enter, and right above your shift key. To the right of L. No, that's your colon. 2 more keys to your right, Jake. So once you upload this, what should happen is, hang on, let mine upload. So you hit the button and the light should turn on. Or if you cover up the LDR, the light should turn on. That's what should happen. All right. Now, if you do both at the same time, don't do that. You'll cause a paradox. The world's going to end. Spock's going to come kill you in your sleep and all that other stuff. Actually, I'm just kidding. Nothing will happen. Actually, the light should turn on because both conditions are actually true. Nobody uses them, Jake. That's why I don't know what they're called. Killing me, Gabe. All right, raise your hands when you have that working. Suddenly it's not liking my else later in the code. And this was the only thing you added, Miss Chelsea, was the 2 forward slashes and the button equals. Make sure it's a double equals. And let me see your code, Miss Chelsea. And to answer, hang on, I just got like bombarded by stuff here. Your light is supposed to turn on when you either press the button or you cover up your LDR. It should not be. Oh, yeah, if you put a semicolon, yeah, don't put a semicolon at the end of that. Cool. That's one thing I got. It's kind of hard to explain the semicolons. Like, I know at the beginning I said semicolons like the end of a sentence, right? But here, you see in this if statement, I don't have any semicolons here. But it's actually moved down here because it's like a compound sentence. All right? But yet in the for loop, you saw me use the semicolons back to back to back. All right? There's no set way that I have found to describe exactly what a semicolon does. Or the proper location. To me, it's more like it's a complete thought still. I still think of it as a sentence because I can't have this if statement without this conditioning of telling you what to do. All right. So, is everybody, Mr. Roseman, Miss Elsie, you got it working? All right. What's going on, Mr. Roseman? Is it your code or is it your circuit? Which one is it? Well, send me your code. All right, so what's your serial print doing then? Is it reading 0 over here, or is it reading 1? Is it reading? What is it reading? It's reading 0. What happens when you press the button? All right, so something's up your circuit. If it's still reading 0 when you press it, that's telling me it's still reading 0. I don't know why it should still be reading 0. Press down hard on your button, Jake. Let's do that first. Was your button working before?
Well, if I push really, really hard and I pray about it just a little bit, it works.
All right, that's because that's a piece of crap button. And it stays at 1, right?
For a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Do you have a pair of needle nose pliers by chance?
Not around.
All right. Well, you don't have to worry about it right now, but after class, if you just those little prongs on the end of your switch, if you straighten them out with needle nose and then stick it back in there, it usually works a little bit better.
Okay.
All right. So we got done pretty quickly here, so I'm gonna change things up here. All right. Let me think here. Let me think. Okay, I got it. So we got that done. We covered ORs or if you switch this over to AND, let's do that real quick. If you shift this to AND, shift AND like that, and upload it, you'll see that your circuit acts a little, or your code acts a little bit differently. I know exactly what that is, Gabe. All right. So you have to both cover up the LDR and press a button for it to work. All right. So let's what do I want to do here? I'm gonna do something slightly different. Not this teacher. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. I got a few minutes here. All right. Let's go up here. I'm going to come up here to these if statements here. We're gonna play around with these a little bit. Let's change things up here. I'm going to create another integer here, and I'm going to call it volts. Int volts equals, and so I want to actually be able to use this as a multimeter, right? So I'm going to turn our analog signal into an actual voltage. Actually, it's not going to be an int. I lied. Sorry about that. It's going to be what's called a double. All right. So we're actually going to use a different type of variable. So this is a whole number, this int, right? And this double just represents a decimal place. Now there's also a word called float. Nobody rarely ever uses float, but it does exist. You might have to use it in your programming classes, but after that, you will never ever use it again, hardly. All right. And then you have double here. So I'm going to change volts. I'm going to change this signal into a voltage reading. Now, what did I say? I said, well, how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to use this crazy little thing called math, right? So what did I say? I said that I know that the Arduino can read up to 5 volts of electricity, right? And I said that the analog read can go up from 0 to 1023, right? So here I'm just going to take this number, LDR, and I have to do a slight conversion factor. And to do that, I'm going to hit Shift 8 to make it times. I'm going to open up a parentheses, and I'm going to do, hang on, can't remember. Yep, now I do. I'm going to do 5.0 over 1023, like so. And that's all I'm going to show you how to do. And I want you to try to print that value out in a format that says volts equals volts. How do I want you to do it? Let's just put it under the line in which we're using. So it should be directly under Goku. This is the line of code that we're adding. Did you catch that, Gabe? So I can make the changes. There it is. 1, 2, 3. All right. And then I want that value. I want to say volts equals, and I want it right underneath. In this case, my Goku, your LDR. I don't remember if I can do this. Yeah, I didn't think I could do that. It's worth a shot. Volts. And just to mess with your heads a little bit, I'm going to change this up. Volts, put that there. That won't work. I need to do serial. Print. Yeah, I do this thing. I don't know. We're going to find out. All right. Let's see if that worked. Sweet. Mr. Wade has it. Let's see if I got it right. Yep. So I want it to look something like that. And you might need to slow it down just a little bit more. Slow mine down to 200 so I can actually see the numbers. All right, cool. All right. Ugh, that looks ugly. Slow it down some more. All right, raise your hands when you think you got it. There we go. That makes more sense. So now, when I cover up the LDR, you can see that my voltage, well, the first up thing you should notice that you can see a decimal place. That's the first time we've ever seen that. And now you can see when I cover it up, I actually have less voltage. So it's actually increasing the resistance when I cover it up. All right. Yes, Gabe. This is my master Illuminati Masonic plan to give you Ebola. You have caught me red-handed. No, just Gabe, not you, Josh. Don't worry about it. You're good. Actually, everybody with the name of Josh is immune to Ebola, I found out, actually. It's actually a scientific fact that if your name is Josh, you don't get Ebola. It's like a cheat code, Josh. It's like up, up, down, down, left, right, A, B, start, select. 5 million internet points to anybody who knew that reference and can tell me the game it came from without Google. Sorry, Chelsea. It's not Killer Instinct. I don't think. Is it Killer Instinct 2? Alright, I'm getting too many things for Killer Instinct. I don't think it's Killer Instinct, but this goes back to the nope, not Killer Instinct. No, that cheat code comes way back from Nintendo. It's actually from Contra. Same company though. Same company that made Killer Instinct. So you might say Killer Instinct, you get 5 points plus versus 5 million. Nope, Chelsea gets 27 points just because she tried. Alright, does everybody got the code working here? See one yuppers? No. Alright, so here, I'm going to show you how I did it. Right? First up, you should have this line. Right? And here I'm just taking a variable. I'm actually taking a variable. I'm using another variable, which is an important concept. I'm using another variable, and then I'm changing it to something else. All right, I could just said double volts equals LDR. That would get the exact same value as LDR. But sometimes you need to manipulate that variable. And one thing I'll tell you, like I got good at coding. The reason I got good at coding because I started coding math, and it made math make it a little bit more sense to me. All right, there's my print. Give somebody a second to notice it. Let's see, who's going to be the first one. I notice I didn't put LN anywhere in that. There you go, Chelsea. Yep, there it is. So this slash n is doing the exact same thing as LN, right? So to demonstrate, it is not being read by the code. So how you put slash n right there. See how it's stuck it in between volts? Now watch what my code does. And see, well, let me stop scrolling. You see I got bow and then volts down here because I put the slash in. This works for this slash tab and slash n works for Java, C++, C Sharp, I think Visual Studio, I'm not positive, and also give me a minute. I don't remember. I think there's another one, but I just don't remember it. Why do I get umlaut? I don't. Why do you get umlaut? I don't know why you get umlaut. Oh, you're talking about like when it first starts out? When the code first starts out and you hit the serial print button? That's just the communication back and forth between your computer, letting everything know that it's okay. So, Gabe asked, like, when you first start up the serial print, you'll get, well, some type of German little words there, and that's how the communication starts. Yes, computers are talking to each other. Let's see if I can make it do it real quick. Oh, shoot, it's 11:01. Why didn't anybody tell me class is over?